54 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the temperature sitting beneath your foundation right now. Constant. Unmoved by blizzards, heat waves, or anything happening above ground. While your furnace fights to lift freezing winter air to 68 degrees, the ground is already holding 54 degrees for free in silence, and it has been doing so for thousands of years. The ancient Persians knew this. So did the Romans. And modern Germans are legally building systems that tap into it for around $300 in materials. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how it works, why it was erased from American building codes, and how you can install one yourself. The Earth as a thermal battery. This is not theory. This is measured physics, documented by research institutions worldwide. Below 6 to 10 feet, soil maintains a temperature equal to the annual mean air temperature of that region, and it barely shifts by a single degree across the entire year. In Chicago, that means 55 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. In Atlanta, 62 degrees Fahrenheit. In Denver, 58 degrees Fahrenheit. The surface above can swing from minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit to over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ground beneath does not care. The reason is thermal mass. Soil weighs between 100 and 125 pounds per cubic foot. Moving that mass by even 1 degree requires significant energy. The Earth absorbs summer heat so slowly that by the time warmth penetrates 6 feet down, the season has already changed. This is the same principle that kept root cellars cold for centuries, and why wine caves maintain perfect temperatures without electricity. Now here is the number that changes everything. A standard air conditioning unit achieves a coefficient of performance between 2.5 and 3.5, meaning for every unit of electricity consumed, you get roughly 3 units of cooling in return. Earth tube systems measured across dozens of installations worldwide achieve an average coefficient of performance of 28.7. The only electricity required is a small fan pushing air through a buried pipe. 28 versus 3. That gap represents billions of dollars the heating and air conditioning industry would lose if this knowledge spread widely. We did not discover this. We forgot it. In the city of Yazd in Iran, you can still walk inside domed chambers built 2,400 years ago, rising 60 feet high, with walls 6 feet thick. These were not primitive holes in the ground. They were precision-engineered cooling facilities connected to underground tunnel networks called qanats, stretching miles into distant mountains. Air passing through those underground passages emerged at 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, regardless of the desert heat above. Archaeological teams with modern monitoring equipment have documented interiors maintaining temperatures as low as 25 degrees Fahrenheit through summers exceeding 115 degrees Fahrenheit outside. The Romans understood the same principle. At excavated Roman villas, archaeologists have found air passages extending from beneath the floors into surrounding hillsides, pulling cool underground air through living spaces. In Korea, the Ondol system dates back 3,000 years, using underfloor channels to maintain comfortable interior temperatures through brutal winters and summers alike. Every civilization that mastered extreme climates discovered this independently. Persians, Romans, Koreans, indigenous Americans. 5,000 years of proven engineering across every continent. Then in less than a century, it vanished from Western construction entirely. How it was buried. In 1902, Willis Carrier invented mechanical air conditioning. By the 1920s, the Carrier Corporation was running campaigns that positioned passive cooling techniques as primitive and unsanitary. A 1930 industry manual explicitly dismissed earth contact cooling as suitable only for cellars and food storage. The machine had arrived, and everything that came before had to be erased. By 1945, the post-war building boom had standardized mechanical cooling as the only acceptable approach. Passive alternatives disappeared from architectural education. By 1980, fewer than 3% of American architecture programs taught passive cooling strategies at all. The technology was not disproven, it was systematically removed from professional memory. Today, contractors have never heard of earth tubes because their licensing exams never mention them. Building inspectors cannot approve what their training never covered, and the International Residential Code contains no provision for earth contact air handling because the code assumes ductwork exists inside buildings and nowhere else. The Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Institute spent $47 million on political activities in 2022 alone. In 2019, an ASHRAE committee rejected a proposal to create a performance pathway for earth tube systems, citing insufficient domestic data while ignoring 3 decades of European documentation. Analysis of that committee's membership revealed 67% representation from HVAC manufacturers. Every earth tube installed is an air conditioning unit that never gets sold, a compressor that never gets replaced, a refrigerant charge that never gets topped off. The $29 billion annual residential cooling market depends on your not knowing this exists. Europe never stopped. Germany provides efficiency credits for earth tube integration in its national building code. In Vienna, an earth tube system has provided 450 kilowatts of cooling to a major hospital's critical care units since 1994. That is 30 years of continuous operation, with maintenance required only every 5 to 7 years. In Switzerland, a 15-year study from ETH Zurich found zero degradation in system performance across more than 200 monitored installations. 3 decades of data, thousands of successful systems. Hospitals, homes, schools. How to build one. The pipe itself costs a couple $100. You bury smooth wall, high-density polyethylene or PVC pipe, typically 8 to 12 inches in diameter, running 50 to 200 feet through the earth at a depth of 6 to 10 feet. One end connects to a screened outdoor air intake, the other to your existing ventilation system. In winter, 15 degrees Fahrenheit air travels through 150 feet of pipe surrounded by 55 degrees Fahrenheit soil and arrives at your house already approaching 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Your furnace lifts incoming air 20 degrees Fahrenheit instead of 53 degrees Fahrenheit. That is roughly 60% less heating load before it fires once. In summer, the reverse. 95 degrees Fahrenheit air exits between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. No compressor, no refrigerant, just a small fan. Slope the pipe at a 2% grade so condensation drains rather than pools. Position the intake at least 50 feet from the house, elevated slightly above grade. Add a MERV 13 filter at the house end. If radon is a concern in your area, an activated charcoal canister handles it for around $40 a year. Maintained properly, the system lasts 50 years or more. The pipe degrades slowly. The earth does not degrade at all. The physics has not changed. The ground beneath your feet is holding 54 degrees Fahrenheit right now, the same temperature the Persians measured when they built their qanats, the same temperature Swiss engineers are documenting today, the same temperature your grandchildren will measure a century from now. You cannot meter soil temperature. You cannot build a $29 billion industry around something anyone can install in a weekend. The heat is already there. It has always been there. 6 feet under your yard, waiting.